Wow, wasn't that a great rendition by Peyton? I'm very impressed. Anyway, we are going to go through these lyrics. This is Ben Howard is the artist, and the song is called These Waters. And so it starts off pretty good. He's talking about, I saw red and yellow flowers outside the moors, and the brightest sunrise to have ever touched my eyes. And so basically, we think what he's saying right here is he's just starting out with some positive imagery and setting the standard to, and just to like show like what happiness is and give a good fresh start to the song. And then soon, but right off the bat though, we go a little more sadder. And through it all, I stood and stumbled, waded through my thoughts and heart. And so first off, waded right here, and it's a double meaning. So it one means going through water, but also which makes sense with the song, but also means proceeded with difficulty, which means that through his thoughts and heart, he was proceeding with difficulty. So whether his thoughts or heart were broken, or he had to get through some hard thoughts or feelings, he's just going through them difficultly. And so he fooled and fumbled, lost, which is alliteration with the double F's, and the F right here with frown, and lost the poet's frown. And we're talking about right here is a lot of poems, especially about love, are really sad, and so maybe he's trying to get upbeat, but he just kind of really was really sad and rough, and then I fought the wolves of patience just to let it lie down. And so we were thinking like maybe patience was really hard for him, and he did fight it, but it amounted to nothing, and it didn't really matter. And so both these also just alliterate and show a bigger theme of like darkness through here and sadness. And so right here, see these waters, they'll pull you up. This is another mention to waters, other than the title. But we're also thinking that this is talking about the waters are not actually waters, they're songs. They're his songs that are writing, and we'll see why in a little bit. But first, if you're bolder than the darkness. So bolder, another double meaning. It means, in the literal sense right here, if you're bolder than the darkness, like if you're better than the darkness, you'll get through it. But also because boulders and waters sink. So it's a little bit of irony right there. And so my let these songs be an instrument to cut. So these waters, he really replaces waters with songs, like literally right there. So we're thinking that's what he means. And be an instrument to cut the spaces between the happiness and the hardness. So right here, we it starts off with the waters, they pull you up, and then they're pulling him through the spaces between the happiness and the hardness. So when it gets hard and when it gets happy, it really gets him through those. And so then we have out the door, the touch of morning, the burning of the frost. And so this is, it kind of like goes back all the way to the first part, where the first part is here, like I saw red and yellow fires over the moors in the brightest sunrise. So this is like this is after the sunrise, burning of the frost. So like winter, with winter, and what Foster said about that, like sadness of it all. But it kind of like it kind of brings back the sadness of the poem that we saw in the previous two stanzas. And then, but right there, out the door, strong hands to hold, good friends that I never lost, where right there, it gets back to happiness, and you see a shift right there. And it talks about like his friends, or maybe songs as well, that are bringing him through it. And so, and what we found, this is some beach imagery with these coves of limestone and cockle shells, down these roads that wander as lost as the heart. So more sadness right there. Let me just write imagery there. Is a chance to breathe again, a chance for a fresh start. So his songs are really helping him breathe. And like when you're in the water, you're drowning. And so they're really another some irony right there, and a chance for a fresh start. And then right back here we have repetition, almost word for word, of this last stanza, with just the addition of oh my spaces between the happiness and hardness right there again. So well, that was probably added to make it sound better and get it. We also can say that it's really just summarizing the whole song. I didn't spell that right. Repetition. So the waters, the songs. So the songs will pull him up from the darkness, and then let his songs be an instrument to help to cut the spaces between the happiness and the hardness. So songs help get through the hardness. All right, and now we're gonna transition to more soapstone. So the speaker is both literally Ben Howard and it's like he actually wrote the song, but it's also about himself and like how he uses his songs to really help him. And so the occasion is the reason he wrote this is like he wanted to talk about the water as not only something he wanted to talk about the water in his songs not only as something that helps him, but also like water is really used as cleansing and rebirth. And so you can't really even live without water. Like you need water to survive. So he just wanted to really talk about how not only do his songs help him survive, but they also really cleanse him and revitalize him and really help him keep moving forward. So the occasion is to help with water. And so for the audience, I wrote that he's kind of not really saying it to anyone in particular. He's just using it as like a memoir. Like he's just really explaining like from the heart what his songs mean to him and just really to anyone that will listen. Like, he's honestly doing it more for himself than he is for other people. And then the purpose and the occasion, I feel like, are really one and the same, where he's talking about for how his songs are like water, and how they really cleanse him, and they also, he can't really live without them. And it's more of like a rebirth for him when he plays his music and stuff, where even if he's really sad or really bummed out, it makes him happy, or if he's, and it really helps him get through the hard times. And so for the tone, we see a lot of tone shifts. It kind of ends on a more optimistic note, and we kind of get that through the whole thing. However, like, we start with good optimistic, then we go to darkness, and then we go back here where it's darker, and it goes back to happiness, and then we have happiness, and then it goes sad, but then it really kind of ends in a more optimistic note. So although there's a lot of tone shifts throughout the book, throughout the song, it really is pretty optimistic.